In this video, we're going to talk about how to raise your love signal. My special guest, Chantal, is back with a brand new book.
You know, when you have these aha moments, I realized one of the things that people don't realize is exactly that, their relationship with love. And we've been so educated that this love is like this rom-com, Disney-fied, romantic thing. and we're in love with the idea of being in love, but that's not enough to sustain a long-term committed relationship with the ups and downs of life. So it was like, whoa, it's true. So I think it's really important for people to ask themselves, what is my relationship with love and what do I want it to be? Because as you clearly said, you know, depending on where you're from and how you were raised, if your relationship with love, you know, was toxic or abusive, verbal abuse, you might keep attracting.
Welcome to another episode of the Love Can't Wait podcast. I'm your host, Sharp Game, so like and share this video. And P.S. by the way, I would appreciate it if you would leave me a 5-star review in iTunes or anywhere where you listen to the show. And feel free to send me any emails to renegademoney@gmail.com or just send me a DM on Instagram. Those are the easiest ways to connect with me. So with that being said, my friend and guest is back again with a brand new book called Raise Your Love Signal, a guide to attracting and keeping the love of your life. She's a love and relationship certified coach with over 2 decades of experience in personal growth and human connection. Her mission is to help individuals discover the path to authentic and lasting love, and is dedicated to empowering her readers with the knowledge and tools needed to create healthy, fulfilling relationships. Chantal's work is renowned for its emphasis on personal development, self-acceptance, and effective communication. She is an advocate for love as a transformative force in people's lives. My special guest, Chantal Landreville, welcome to the show. So once again, thanks again for coming back on the podcast with your brand new book called Raise Your Love Signal, a guide to attracting and keeping the love of your life.
Yes.
So why did you want to write a book?
For many reasons. I've always wanted to write a book. I actually have like 3 more on the back burner. One of them being like 75% done. But this specific book, when I created Raise Your Love Signal, my coaching program, I took an entrepreneurship course. And one of the things through this course was they would push you to actually write a book. And I learned, and I'm happy I did, on all the ABCs of how to write a book, because there's a technique to it and some great tools that can help you get through the journey, especially when you're doing a form of business book. I mean, granted, this is not a business topic, but it's more about my program and everything that I've learned over the last 20 years in my own personal self-development journey and my 18 years of being single and my struggles with love. So I wanted to write this book because it's literally the best of everything I've learned in the last 20 years and the hundreds of thousands of dollars that it cost me and that I've applied to my life and that I've seen massive results and that I still use today and I will continue using. So I wanted to make something that was an easy read, that was a little funny, because I think that when we're getting life lessons, it's nice to incorporate a little humor in it. And I didn't want it to make it a hard read or something that you just get discouraged as you're reading it. So this is a great night table book to refer to on a regular basis.
Yeah, I think it's a good book for men and women.
Yes.
Actually, I think because how it's written, because even though it might caters to women, but even as a man, there's some things you can take from this book and apply it to even your relationships as a man. Like for example, I like when you talk about the definition of love, which is, to me, it's very important, because depending on how you were raised and where you were raised, that could mean something different. That means something different to almost everybody.
Absolutely. And that was this is how it actually all started, because when I was trying to write this book, I to get direction, I actually did some market research. I went straight to the people to ask them, why are you struggling in love and having problems with? And the first question that kind of like really initiated all of this was, I asked myself, like, what actually is love? Like, what is love to me? And considering I had done so much research and just being in the world of self-development, especially regarding love, dating, and relationships, I was like, I'm struggling answering this question myself. So how does the average person answer it? And the one thing that I realized through all the questioning and the research was everybody was making love about other people and never about themselves, which we both know that when, if you want to have a really healthy relationship, you really need to have a relationship with yourself and love yourself first. And I as I was doing that, it was, when you have these aha moments, I realized one of the things that people don't realize is exactly that, their relationship with love. And we've been so educated that this love is like this rom-com, Disney-fied, romantic thing. And we're in love with the idea of being in love, but that's not enough to sustain a long-term committed relationship with the ups and downs of life. So it was like, whoa, it's true. So I think it's really important for people to ask themselves, what is my relationship with love and what do I want it to be? Because as you clearly said, depending on where you're from and how you were raised, if your relationship with love, was toxic or abusive, verbal abuse, you might keep attracting narcissistic partners because you think that that's the way love is, where it's not. It's just because it's what you saw when you grew up. So it's really important to ask yourself those questions and define it so you can attract something that you actually really, really want, not something that you subconsciously are experiencing. Yeah.
So how did you come up with the concept as far as the chapters? And how did you decide that, hey, these are the topics I want to talk about in the chapters?
Well, this is literally the program that I teach. So 3 years ago, I remember through this entrepreneurship course that I was taking, and they were teaching us how to start the program. One of the things that was massively helpful was like, identify the problems, your niche market. In my case, men and women are suffering and not able to find real love, or struggle with love, or fail in love. So identify the 100 problems and find the solution to them. So that's kind of how I brainstormed around it. And I realized that there were different categories that I wanted to talk about. So the book is actually divided in three love lessons, because what I teach are love lessons. And the first love lesson being your want. It's really important to get clear on your want. And as I was answering the identifying the problems and finding the solution, one of the things I realized is that people think they know what they want, but they actually don't really take the time to think about what they really need. And there's a big difference between wants and needs. And they don't take the time to think about, how am I going to grow and evolve in a relationship? We make it about the partner all the time, right? It's like, I want a person to be like this, I want a person to be like that, and I want this and I want that, and it's me. Where when you're thinking about the relationship, it's much more in-depth questions like, how do I want this person to show up with me if I lose my job and I go through financial burden? How do I want this person to take care of me if I get sick or we have children? What are the value systems that we want to incorporate together, and will we agree on these things? So we don't take the conversation with ourselves about the relationship and take it down further to really analyze what really matters. Because here's the thing, superficial stuff like the wants are, can be overcome with the needs. So I'll give you an example. One of the things I had on my list, because I had done this exercise myself before finding my partner, was somebody that danced. I really, really wanted to be with someone that knew how to dance, and it was almost a deal breaker for me because it's really important to me. But as I met my partner, I sadly came to realize that not only doesn't he dance, but he has no rhythm whatsoever. So I was like, oh my God, this really sucks. But as we got to know each other, one of the things that for me was really important for someone that would accept me for who I was, and that would give me the freedom, because I'm a butterfly. I'm a massive social butterfly, and that would kind of like encourage me to do things that I love. And today, he's always go out dancing with your girls, or if we're at a wedding together and I say, okay, you need to dance this one dance. He's like, okay, let me have 4 shots of tequila and I'll give you 1 dance. So the fact that I wanted someone to be able to dance is not what's going to sustain my relationship long term. It's how he supports me. It's how he encourages me. It's how he accepts me in that interest that I have. So I invite people to really dive deep and take their vision of the relationship much deeper. So that's chapter number 1. Chapter number 2, love lesson number 2, is all about yourself. So really understanding why you show up the way you do in a relationship or not, and who you attract or not. And that's all rooted to childhood, as you clearly stated earlier. You need to understand where you come from. And a lot of people have no idea or haven't been taught, because I learned all this stuff when I was 38 years old, and I had been in the self-development world for quite a while. So when I understood what was the relationship with my father and my mother and them together, it really shed some light on why I had the pattern that I had. And one of them was attracting unemotional, available men. And I also talk a lot about self-love and your worth, and really, really honoring yourself in that, because if you have no love for yourself, the quality of the partner you attract will, as I always say, your partner will only love you as much as you love yourself. So if you do not love yourself enough, you will not attract that high quality vibrational partner. And then love lesson number 3 is the ABCs, the dating journey, like everything you need to know to help you navigate through the once you've done all the hardcore exercises in those first 2 chapters, it's like, let's have a little fun and make sure that you succeed in your dating journey and don't experience dating burnout, and learn all the fundamentals that you need before you go into relationship. If you're able to actually incorporate these things, you will succeed in relationship. And that's the idea behind the book, because I realized, it's for a lot of people, including for me, in those days, it took me forever to find my partner. And so once you find your partner, you want to make sure you're set up for success, to succeed in your relationship. And we've never been taught how to be in relationship. So this book really gives you some fundamental key pillars that you can incorporate and apply not only in your romantic relationships, but to all of your relationships.
Yeah. So some people would say, well, I'm too young, or I'm too old, or how would this book help me? Maybe some people would say, man, I've never really had a relationship before, or they'll say, well, our relationship has been the way it's been for so long maybe it's horrible and it's been that way for so long. It's become normal, you know. So could this book help them?
Absolutely, as long as you're open to change, right? It's like anything. We can say we human beings do not love change. We like to sit in our comfort zone and bitch and complain about it. So you need to decide, you know, first of all, if I'm content in my relationship and I'm okay with that, that's fine, you're allowed. But if you're not and you're complaining and you're unhappy, well, I invite you to open your mind and, you know, start incorporating some of the tools I talk about in the book to help you improve your life. And I think no matter where you are in your love life journey, whether you're single, whether you're already in relationship, there is something for everyone in that book to learn from. Everything. Definitely there's something for everyone in there.
Yeah. You know, I have I would say I would call them friends. They're like a new couple I met about 2 months ago. And, you know, I could tell they have some stuff going on. I picked up on it. Mm-hmm. Like maybe the third time of me meeting them, I kind of picked up on it. And, you know, the husband, he kept asking me questions. Hey, what do I think about this? What do I think about that, or whatever? And I think, I'm not sure of this, but I think he Googled my name.
Ooh.
Googled my name.
He checked you out.
Yeah. Now, and by the way, I never told him what I did or anything. So I think he Googled my name and he started asking me questions. And this is kind of out of the blue. This is not like we never had a conversation, but he just all of a sudden started asking me questions all of a sudden. And they just got married 3 months ago.
Okay.
And he said he said maybe we should have got some counseling before we got married. And I said, yeah, that's a good idea, you know. But I said, hey, you can still go, you know, it's not too late. And he's like, yeah, I just paid for her to go or whatever. And I said, that's good. You're better than I was. We never went to counseling before we got married, you know. Yeah. And so I think the reason why I brought that up is because a lot of stuff that you wrote can be applied to their relationships, because some people just don't know. You know, if you wasn't taught, you just don't know.
We've never been taught, Lopez, and that's why it's like, and I tell people this, that's why, you know, learn this stuff before you go into relationship, especially if you're single now. Learn these fundamentals and apply them to all the areas of your life and all of your relationships. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. But I think that when you're talking about a couple like you, especially that just recently got married, most people wait till shit hits the fan to go get help. And I say, why not build your toolbox while you're good and know what to do and how to manage and handle conflict or the ups and downs when they will happen. I don't have a perfect relationship and I do what I do, but I have the toolbox to know how to manage and handle when the ups and downs happen, or if we fall off the wagon. We're really good at bringing each other back up and holding each other and our relationship to high standards. So life is too short to be, you know, especially with your companion. Do the work, find out the toolbox, you know, learn this stuff, including things like communication skills that can really, really make a big difference. I remember actually I was working with this couple a month ago, and they've been together for 3 years. And from the beginning, they were in a toxic relationship that was very unhealthy. And so we started working together, and at one of the sessions, I decided to teach them the 3 steps that I teach in my communications masterclass. And I said, I want you guys to apply this to every situation, every day, like it's in your head, like for 2 weeks, this is what we're going to do. 2 weeks later, we have our call and they pop on Zoom with this big smile. And I'm like, what's happening? And good news? And they're like, we've never had such a great 2 weeks with one another like we've had in the last 3 years. I was like, really? And it was just because they applied that communication 3-step thing, because they were not listening to one another. They were disrespecting and dismissing one another. They just didn't speak the same language. So it's like, how can we make sure we actually understand one another? And there are small little things that can make a huge difference, but we're not taught these things. So
yeah, if you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know. So, I'm not telling people, it's not your fault, but it is your fault knowing what we know today, especially there's so much great content, free content out there. When I get trapped into the TikTok or Instagram thing, I'm like, wow, there's so many great tools out there for information to help couples, to help people in relationships. So build your toolbox. You're the only one. You have to take ownership. If you're not happy, you're the only one that can create change, and it starts with you.
Yeah. And I can tell if people are not just one person. I can tell someone's not happy.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm in their presence, and even online. Like when I saw your Instagram, she's happy. Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, she's happy. I can just tell. It's the vibe. It's the their energy, the smiles, just the vibe between each other. I can tell. Maybe it's because I've been doing this for a long time, or I don't know. I'm not sure, but I can go to a restaurant or a bar, and I can sit down and I can tell who likes
how to
being
read a room. Yeah.
I can tell who likes being around each other. I can tell who likes each other. I can tell.
I understand that, because I know when I work with couples if they're going to work out before they even do or not. I just know. I know. We have great instinct, I guess. It's just we know how to read. We know how to read. So I hear you. I can tell as well.
Yeah, I can tell. It's like even if I really think about it, even when I have an interview for a job or whatever, I can when I walk in the room, within 5 minutes, I pretty much know how this is gonna go.
Well, it's a great tool in your back pocket, so that's a great talent to have. So yeah. So that's I don't know. Some people say it's a gift, but I don't know. It's a gift. You choose to listen. You're observing, you're paying attention, you're reading energy, and everybody has that in them. It's just, we get busy with noise. We ignore the signs. You're just in tune, which is a beautiful thing. It is a gift.
Yeah. So do you think it's a good idea to date? Some people will say date on purpose. Or just date, and I would say be passive. What do you think when people? Because some people, a lot of people online, especially, they'll say, "Hey, I date on purpose. I don't date for nothing."
Yeah.
So you think that's a good idea?
I definitely think it's a good idea, because if you're dating intentionally and with purpose, you're going to get better results. If you're just like doing it to do it, you're going to attract, the crap. So I think that when we are intentional and have purpose in our direction, in our outcome, it can create and help you, filter out all the noise and the crap that's around. But, one of the things that I hear all the time, obviously people find the dating journey difficult, especially on dating apps, but we also are not dating intentionally and not putting enough effort into it. And I hear this all the time. It's so much work. And I'm like, you're looking for your life partner. What do you think? It's going to be easy? Like it's like if you wanted to buy a new house or a car or a new mattress, you'd be shopping around, trying, make sure you get the right thing at the right price, and because it's something you want to have for a long time. So if you're already starting with that attitude, for me, it's like you don't have purpose. So if you want better results, you need to be intentional yourself first. And that starts, like things like creating better dating profiles and, creating intentional and quality conversations and filtering before you actually give your time to someone that you don't know. There's tons of tips actually that I suggest in the book about the dating journey, but including getting clear on what it is that you actually want. And I was actually listening to a podcast earlier this week that was talking about the science of relationship. It was really interesting because this guy's a matchmaker, and he was saying how people think they know what they want, right? And I talk about this in the book too, because a triangle, we think we know what we want. There's a big difference between what you attract and what's actually right for you. And when he actually took it from a science perspective, he was like, I'll sit down with clients and ask them their values. Do you know what your values are when you're, looking out to date and going into relationships? So yes, for example, I'm Christian. I like to go to church on weekends. I want to eat well. I don't drink. I don't smoke, and whatever it is. And then he'll meet them a week later and he'll ask the same client, like, so what did you do this weekend? Oh, I went on a fender bender. I ate junk food all weekend. I drank myself to death. I never made it to church. So people are not in action with what they actually say or think that they want. And that was really insightful for me because it's so true. And that's why the vision exercise is super important, because it really gets you to think deeper than what we've been taught or we think we know. So you really realize what really matters to you, especially in the long run, because, the fire, the exciting, the butterflies, that doesn't last in a long-term committed relationship, not the way people have been doing it, because people give their best at the beginning and then they start getting lazy. What if we did the opposite, right? It's like, reveal yourself slowly. So that means taking our time when we date instead of rushing into things, and build on it as the years go by. And it's been a beautiful year for me in my own relationship, because I always tell my boyfriend, I said, my God, you're the guinea pig as I do all my research. But I'm getting to really experience love like I never thought I would experience. I'm more in love today than I was the first 2 years that we met. And that's because we built and we created safety, and I have peace, and there's acceptance and respect. And it's a really nice place to be. Really nice. And I want that for people, because life is so short. There's no reason for you to be struggling in a relationship at all. No. There's no need for it. So do you not want to change what we've been taught about love that's really not working over time and time again, and start thinking about a new way of approaching and seeing love and relationships to experience this?
Yeah, I know. I always say, if you want it bad enough, whatever you want bad enough, you find a way.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And a lot of people, I also say a lot of people don't know what real commitment looks like. They don't really know what it looks like.
Yeah.
They think like, in the beginning, everything is new. It's a lot of excitement. And when that kind of wears off, it's like, oh, this ain't fun no more. I'm ready to move on. And they go to the next relationship and do the same thing over again.
Exactly.
But I always say, look, every day when I wake up, I'm not excited every day when I wake up. I'm happy to wake up. I'm happy to see a new day.
Yes.
But I'm not excited every day when I wake up. Some days I'm tired. Some days I feel great when I wake up. And some days if I wake up and I don't feel the best, later on that day I'll end up feeling great. Yes. So, and relationships is kind of like it's up and down, and it's not because of what's going on in your household all the time. It's because your mom, your dad,
life.
Sick,
yeah,
sick,
life,
whatever. It's ups and flows, like some people like to say. But that doesn't mean this ain't Hollywood.
It ain't Hollywood, and that's why it's important to define that definition of love for you, because this is what people do, especially when they're on the dating circuit, right? It's that dopamine, that serotonin, that high. So of course it's great to be in that space all the time, but it's not sustainable.
No.
It's not sustainable like that, but it can be on a different scale. And I'm experiencing it, I'm seeing it. And the thing that people don't want to do, because I was writing an article for the 2024 dating trends and different generations to see, what was going on. And as I did the research and question, I realized there was one common pattern amongst all generations, no matter if you're 20, 60, 75, 30, is that there's never been a need or a craving for more deep human connections. But there's never been a time where people do not want to invest time and be vulnerable and have an open heart. So there's a disconnection, right?
Yeah.
So you really it starts with you. You really, really need to ask yourself these questions. That's why I love the book and those hard questions that I ask, because if you have an idea that love for you is this romantic, beautiful, I'm going to go into the sunset, with the white horse and my Prince Charming, well, I'm sorry, you're setting up yourself for failure, and you will skip from one relationship to the other. And a relationship is actually two people coming together to take care of one another's needs, wants, and desires, that have the willingness to service each other on the same scale. There's not this like, I do this, you do that. It's like, I gotcha. Yeah. We're like the best line I can tell you is that you both hold each other to high standards. You hold each other in the relationship to high standards, and that takes work. It takes investment. We've been the last couple of weeks with the book launch, I've been working nonstop around the clock. So has my boyfriend. He took another contract without realizing what it would actually mean. So he's working 60 hours a week. So we literally cross paths in bed out in. So I actually said on Tuesday, I'm like, no, this is enough. We have to catch ourselves. So we planned a date night on Saturday. And that's why I'm saying it's not to say that your relationship won't go through ups and downs. It's just, instead of doing this, it'll just do this.
Yeah.
But you both have to call each other out on the thing instead of getting stuck and just getting lazy. And that's where most people don't want to invest the work.
Yeah. It might be a cliche statement, but it's really what you make it.
It really is what you make it.
It really is what you make it.
Yeah. You want to keep the fire burning? Keep the fire burning. That means you need to work at it, and you need to create spiciness and activities to actually keep the fire burning. It's
So I highly recommend everybody go get the book on Amazon.com. Raise Your Love Signal, a guide to attracting and keeping the love of your life. And if people, where else can people get the book?
So you just put my website. So the website will take you to a pop-up. I mean, it's still in pre-order. It's officially going to be available on February 14th. And it has all the links of where it's available online. And then if you can't find the book and really, really want the book, you can just send me an email that's also on my website, or find me on Instagram, because for the time being, that's where I am the most active. And that's my name, Chantal.Landreville. Come and follow me and listen to my videos.
There you have it. Like, share this episode. All links will be found in the show notes. Until next time, we are out. Peace. If you like this video, share this video. And if you want to support my channel, click the thanks tab and leave me a donation. 2, 5, 10. Thank you.